portion is a lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, in the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens or at the particular. The other portion is a lot of people.
That is your racist usurper. Once again, spewing the racism of low expectations, which we have talked about for a great number of years on this show. Now, that is Biden at his disastrous town hall here recently, telling you that minorities are too uneducated and ignorant to be able to get online and even figure out where to get the vaccine, let alone figure out where to vote. Minorities don't know how to do any of this. You know, the Babylon Bee posted on Twitter over here yesterday. The Babylon Bee, which is conservative satire. It's like The Onion. To save time, the Babylon Bee will now just republish everything Biden says verbatim. So they're not going to satirize anything that he does. So there's Joe Biden. Mr. Poor kids are just as smart as white kids. Mr. If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. And now, of course, he's out there telling minorities that, look, you white people out there, you have to understand minorities are basically too stupid to figure out how to get online and find out where the vaccine is. They don't know where Walgreens is. Minorities don't go to Walgreens. Come on. They can't even get on the internet to figure out where it is, let alone vote. I want to remind everybody of a video that we play regularly on this show. It's Ami Horowitz. Ami Horowitz went to Compton, and he interviews some white college students at the beginning of this, and white liberal college students, and asks them about voter ID laws. And of course, a bunch of these pasty white kids who don't hang out with minorities at all will tell him, yeah, voter ID laws are racist. And then of course, he goes to Compton, which is predominantly black, and he starts repeating what these white college kids are saying. And of course, you know, these people in Compton, black, that's kind of racist. I know exactly where to register to vote. I have an ID. I've got internet right here on my phone. So I want you to listen to this, because Joe Biden has just repeated the racist trope of the racism, basically, of low expectations. Here's Ami Horowitz.
You know, voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
Some people have smartphones, but they might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. That's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that. It's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet. Even a little kid can figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data?
Mm-hmm.
You can actually
Unlimited.
Unlimited data.
Mm-hmm. I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process was.
I just think that's ignorant. Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word I'm hearing a lot. Ignorant.
Very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
You're judging somebody, you're judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Do you have a problem that if you go to vote and they say, "Can we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? You
love showing my ID.
You have no problem with that?
All right, Joe, you can cut it
Do
there.
you have a
You
problem
get the point. Sorry, I said Compton, but I meant Harlem. My apologies. For the record, this has been studied, and the very, very, very small amounts in the United States that don't have access to the internet, they're overwhelmingly rural, not in cities. Joe Biden just said exactly what those folks in Harlem said was racist to Ami Horowitz in that video. But hey, you can go to bed tonight knowing that at least poor people are as smart as white people. More coming up. 95.3 MNC.
This is Michiana